Good evening, salam alaikum, and welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Points. I'm your host, Syed Neaz Ahmad. In our studios today, we have a young lady. She is a solicitor and an advocate. She practices in London as well as in Bangladesh. Welcome to the show, Nabila. How are you?
Thank you, Mr. Ahmad. I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. It's an unusual day for Londoners because it's so hot. London is always cold. I always say that warm feelings from a cold London. See, but tonight it's a warm feeling from a warm London. I always ask my guests, see, sometimes, why did they want to choose the profession that they are in? See, instead of you chose law, but perhaps somebody like you could have become a journalist, a teacher, a flyer, an engineer, an architect, but you chose law. Why?
I think it's a very noble profession.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say all about all professions.
I think I naturally inclined towards it from a very early age.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm the first lawyer in my family from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my family's never liked lawyers. Lawyers were seen as a very negative kind of personality. My yes, liars. So there was a big fear of lawyers and uncertainty, of course. But I was good in debate in school. I was told that I spoke well by my family members, and I just wanted to be something which allowed me to interact a lot with the society and use my vocabulary and use my oratory skills as well. So law seemed a very natural progression from those sentiments. And my mother was a big encouragement. My maternal aunt was a big encouragement. And yes, that's alhamdulillah, here I am now.
Great. You practice civil litigation in the UK and Bangladesh.
Yes.
You presently do cross-border work. Whatever that, I will ask you later. You want to develop a career in international arbitration. You're an advanced user of legal search engines, and you want to use these skills to contribute to LCIA's research and operational activities. What is civil litigation? My questions might appear very foolish, you see, but out there are a lot of people who would like to know.
Yes, no, certainly. Thank you for your question. There are two forums generally for litigation. One is criminal, one is civil. So litigation is one form of resolution of dispute. We lawyers call it dispute resolution. There are, of course, other forms such as mediation or such as negotiation.
But what is litigation? That is something that goes into the court, or is it decided
Yes, so
outside
litigation is a formal mode of dispute resolution. There are generally practice and procedure in place and formality in place, including a dress up and your attire. So when we say litigation, it generally refers to something in the courtroom. My area is civil, not criminal, though I am very fortunate to have associates who are very competent criminal practitioners, but I myself do not practice crime. So most areas of civil litigation are my most areas of practice are civil oriented.
And what is this cross-border work?
The cross-border work is something myself and my colleagues were very proud of. I'm a lawyer in an organization called Azurist, and we do specialist Bangladesh law work. We're the only law firm, if I'm aware, who only specializes in Bangladeshi law. So Bangladesh and UK have very deep roots. And there's such a big diaspora here, which is great and flourishing, but they have a lot of legal issues in Bangladesh, mostly to do with property, but there is business as well, there is family and inheritance. So we assist those individuals who are have these kind of issues for Bangladesh. And we have 3 offices, one in London, where I am based, and there is one in Dhaka and one in Maulvi So these 3 offices, we service clients for Bangladesh law.
In Sylhet.
Yes. So we hope to have something very soon in Sylhet.
Maulvi Bazaar in Old Dhaka.
Oh, right, yes. So no, this is Maulvi Bazaar in Sylhet. In fact, that is the oldest office. Has been there for 30 years because it was spearheaded by a very prominent civil practitioner in Maulvi Bazaar, Mr. Sudhanshu De. And so we in his memory and in his honor, we kept that. And the Dhaka office is there from 2008, and the London office is there from 2014. So now we have integrated all our services, and we are providing this cross-border service.
Right. So you are providing services to mostly people who are living here in this country or in other European countries, relating to their problems with like inheritance and taking possession of the land, because this is a big problem. I mean, we had the same problem in our family. So is that the main thing, or there are business disputes? Because
in fact, business law is my background. When I initially started practicing law, business and corporate law was my background. And when we set up Azurus, the idea was to service mostly business clients, but the reality turned out to be different, that most of the people who had issues, yes, there is a business sector to our work, but most, I will say 80% of our work is land and inheritance and family law oriented. So that is the crunch, most of our work, but we do business law as well. We help set up companies in Bangladesh. We have service clients in Europe. This year we also had our first North American client, and we also
of Bangladeshi origin.
Of Bangladeshi origin, and they have engaged us for a legal matter for Bangladesh. And we've serviced clients in Philippines and Qatar as well. But UK, being based in UK, we think the diaspora is so rich here. So most of our clients are from UK, but outside UK as well, we service.
Since we do not receive telephone calls on this show, suppose somebody were to ask you that I have a piece of land and it has been taken over by somebody else, maybe from my family, maybe from outside, and how do I go about it? And this is the usual story that I hear.
Yeah, this is a very common story.
How do I go about it? I mean, from where to kick the ball, which way?
Well, we first start with you. What is your nexus with the land? Are you an owner? Are you entitled to be the owner, as in you are the successor of the owner? Have you acquired possession by some other means, such as you've lived in that land so long? So the ball always starts with the person expressing the grievance. And first we assess the strength of that nexus. So we try to ascertain the standing of that person. Okay, here is a person raising an issue about the land. So how do we establish first, what are the evidences which establishes his nexus with the land, his or her nexus with the land? And then we decide on what are the courses of action, depending on who is the perpetrator, who is this person who has actually taken over. Is it a relative? Is it a family member? Is it a neighbor? Is it a completely different third party? So you asked, where does the ball, I mean, what is the initial point? The initial point is always the client themselves.
I understand that, this is very simple, yes. But I understand that there are a lot of problems regarding the documents. I mean, a lot of forged documents can be created there.
Absolutely.
Manufactured there. And then the perhaps living here, he has to spend about £1,000 on fare to go, and then other things that will come with that. And then he goes and finds that the document has been accepted by the authorities. without much
Without much.
investigation.
Mm.
And then he comes back. You see, he has spent some money, time, and he comes back with nothing.
Yes, this is where we also kind of give a bit of therapeutic service to the clients as well, because what happens is there is a lot of aggrieved individual and they just give up. They give up thinking it is such a big hassle. Lots of our clients are of new generation with with very limited or very less understanding of the Bengali culture.
Yeah.
Language is an issue, culture is an issue, and of course there's the distance. So they give up, and we encourage them not to give up. First, we advise them what are their options, and then we encourage them to evaluate themselves how important it is to them. If it is something not worth it, then yes, you have all the right to give up. But there is an avenue. Despite the forgery, despite the distance, we are here. We can assist you. This is a way forward. Do you want to take this way forward? So we certainly understand the client's position, because being so far away, Bangladesh is, I think, two and a half, correct me if I'm wrong, 2,500 miles away.
No, it will be more than that.
It'll be more than that, but it's thousands of miles away.
Yes,
And
this is 0 degree, and Dhaka is 90 degrees.
I'm calculating Emirates miles, because up and down I get 5,000.
Different.
Yes, air miles may be different.
What you have been earning will be different.
Yes, so it's thousands of miles away. It's extremely difficult to even contemplate doing litigation there, or trying to face the odds over there. But if you want, then there is help, and we encourage clients to get that professional help, even if not us. Any other professional lawyer, we encourage them not to give up.
Is there a government department back in Bangladesh that, I understand there is, but is it there? I mean, for sure. And how effective they are, if they are there?
Well, the Bangladeshi government has many free and voluntary service for Probashi. Probashi is non-residents. So there is the Probashi Kalyan Samiti, and then every embassy or high commission in every country, they also have consular services. And
that's a sad story.
That is, I would say otherwise, actually, Mr. Ahmed, because they don't advertise the service because they fear they're going to be inundated with work. But they do an important job. If you raise a complaint with the Bangladesh High Commission in, say, London, and we regularly advise this to clients to use their consular service because that is what they're there for, they will make a representation to all the respected individuals.
Hopefully.
But they do. I know they do for sure. And they will try to get a response. They don't chase it. But because a representation is going from the Bangladesh High Commission, even if it takes a bit of time, there is a way where someone has to give them feedback, and that is fed back to the client. So many people don't know about it, but the High Commission or embassy in any country, they have a consular service. And it is not enforcing in a sense, but it is there, and it does a communicating.
Is it more of an advisory service?
It is an oversight kind of service, and what they do is they communicate the concern to the respective authorities, say law enforcement or the DC office or the land offices, and it does really help, because eventually if you have to do the litigation, what you can do is use that representation you made to the Bangladesh High Commission and use it as an evidence. And that is sometimes very helpful, because that is a representation to a very valid and legal channel.
I'll take your word for that, because we do have a lot of, in my own family we do have a lot of problems, so I'll take your word for it. I do know some people in High Commission, but I thought that it was beyond their jurisdiction.
No, it's not. But you have to remember, this is, you asked me whether there's any government services, but you have to have your legal avenues.
It's one of those times that we need to take a break. And when we come back, we'll pick up the thread.
Sure.
Don't go away. We'll be back after this. Thank you.